And welcome back to Live Now from Fox. Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier are among more than 30 people charged in connection with schemes involving illegal sports betting and rigged poker games backed by the Mafia. That's according to officials, who also said Rozier is accused in participating in an illegal sports betting scheme using private insider NBA information. Billups is charged in a separate indictment alleging a wide-ranging scheme to rig underground poker games that were backed by Mafia families. The indictments are related to two major cases, one involving sports betting, the second involving rigged poker games. And in the first case, 6 defendants are accused of participating in an insider sports betting conspiracy that exploited confidential information about NBA athletes and teams. The second case involves 31 defendants in a nationwide scheme to rig illegal poker games. The defendants include former professional athletes accused of using technology to steal millions of dollars from victims in underground poker games in the New York area that were backed by Mafia families. We were hearing from several officials earlier, including FBI Director Kash Patel, as he put this on social media, saying 30-plus arrests, 11 states, one nationwide takedown. Today, the FBI dismantled a multi-million-dollar gambling ring tied to La Cosa Nostra, including current and former NBA players and coaches. I also wanted to share this post here with you, as we are hearing right now from the attorney for Rozier, James Trusty. He said this to Fox News, saying, "We have represented Terry Rozier for a year. A long time ago, we reached out to these prosecutors to tell them we should have an open line of communication. They characterized Terry as a subject, not a target, but at 6 a.m. this morning, they called me to tell me FBI agents were trying to arrest him in a hotel. It is unfortunate that instead of allowing him to self-surrender, they opted for a photo op. They wanted the misplaced glory of embarrassing a professional athlete with a perp walk. That tells you a lot about the motivations in this case." To discuss all of this, I wanted to bring in a reporter here who was actually inside the press briefing a little bit earlier, Ben Horney from Front Office Sports. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here. We do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Christy. Really happy to be here.
So as I just said, you were there at this press conference. There was a lot of information that we learned. Can you briefly recap for our viewers what we learned there and these charges?
Yeah, so you hear the word sprawling investigation a lot, right? This was that. There are two separate situations here, as you very excellently went through just a second ago. There's one where NBA players like Terry Rozier and Jontay Porter, who was banned for the NBA from life last year, are charged with giving inside information about health of themselves, giving people information so they could bet the under on Terry Rozier is going to score less than 10 points. Terry Rozier would tell people, I'm going to leave the game. I'm going to, say that I have a leg cramp, whatever. The other one really is crazy. There's this alleged scam involving rigged poker games, where that's what Chauncey Billups was involved in, and Damon Jones is actually named in both indictments. They were allegedly playing these high-stakes poker games where everyone but the victims, who they called fish because they were lured in by the allure of playing alongside famous people like Chauncey Billups, were getting scammed out of money, and they were using technology. They said they were using card shuffling machines. They were using like X-ray technology where cards would be face down, but they could still see what the cards were. And they were scamming people out of millions of dollars. Kash Patel called it mind-boggling. He said tens of millions of dollars. This was years of investigation.
Right, and I did want to ask you about that, about all that technology. There's so much we're still learning here, and at the end of that press conference, we also did hear reporters asking questions, and a lot of these answers we can't get right now because this is an active investigation. But going off of that, were there any specific pieces of evidence mentioned during this briefing that were crucial in securing these indictments?
That's a good question. I think it seems like they've been investigating for a very long time. I need to read through the indictments, which I have here right next to me. I haven't had a chance to actually go through them yet. But there were over 20 officials in the room today. There were a ton of people involved in this, multiple law enforcement agencies. So they've been investigating for a while. They obviously feel confident. Now, I don't know whether that means that they had people in these games and they legitimately had people with eyes on what was happening or what. But obviously they have enough evidence that they feel confident to charge these people.
And what was the outline here for this connection between the defendants as well as the Mafia? Because we did hear a lot about that there as well.
Yeah, so they called this a pipeline, a financial pipeline to the Mafia. They said 5 Italian mob families in New York. Law enforcement said that they're not going to be deterred, that they're not afraid of this. But it sounds like the allegations are that this was ultimately run by the Mafia. They described it as, this sounds like it's a Hollywood script, but it's not. It's real life. And now how exactly they got people like Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier involved, that I don't know yet.
Right, and that was one of the questions reporters were asking there at the end of the press conference. How were they able to get involved? And I guess that's one of the answers we're just going to have to wait for. But did the indictment specify how insider NBA information was obtained and used in the sports betting scheme? I know you said you have the indictments next to you. You haven't read them yet, but have we heard from officials on that?
It sounds like it was as simple as an example, Terry Rozier telling whoever he was connected with, I don't know if it was someone from the mob, someone else, telling them, hey, I'm going to get myself out of the game after 9 or 10 minutes tonight, so bet the under on my points. And then people would put maximum bets on those prop bets. It was mostly prop bets, they said, so that's things like Terry Rozier will score less than 10 points tonight. He would take himself out of the game. They would win. They overwhelmingly won the bets. It resulted in millions of dollars of, allegedly illegal gains.
And do we know how long this had been going on for before this was brought publicly to us, the viewers, the public?
I mean, it was years. I can't tell you exactly, but it's been years. They did talk about a specific incident that was from, I think it was a 2023 game when Terry Rozier was on the Heat. Or not on the Heat, on the Hornets, excuse me. He's on the Heat now, although, it remains to be seen what's going to happen with that. But yeah, this was a years-long investigation, so it remains to be seen how long it was going on for. But like I said at the outset, this is a sprawling thing. They said it's the tip of the iceberg. There could still be more to come, so my bet is that this has been going on for quite some time.
What are the implications of all of this for the NBA, and has the league responded yet to all of this?
I haven't been in touch with the league. I mean, the implications are serious. They have, not just the NBA, but all these leagues have major partnerships with sports betting companies like FanDuel and DraftKings. Interestingly, the enforcement officials described the sports betting companies as victims in this in response to a reporter question, which answered one question, did the sports books know and were they involved? It sounds like they're being treated as victims, that they were taken for as well. You would expect that the NBA will respond to this. I'm sure that they're scrambling this morning. It can't be fun. The season just started. We've had some great basketball. This is, Chauncey Billups coached last night.
Now, when it comes to getting more answers here, I mean, we did just get a lot of information this morning, but there's still a lot of questions, as we've been saying here. When can we expect to get more of those answers?
So Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier are both being brought into court in Oregon and Florida. Rozier in Florida, Billups in Oregon today. They didn't give us an exact time. I don't know how much more information will be given from that, but these things can take a while. So, I'm sure that there will be more reporting to do. I'll certainly be on the hunt for information. It could take a little bit for more to come out. And then, like I said before, both investigations are still ongoing. So this is not like, hey, we, found these people, we charged them, clap, clap, it's all done. There could be more charges brought. There could be more NBA players charged, coaches. We don't know.
My last question for you here before I let you go, how could all of this change, really, the regulations when it comes to sports betting?
Obviously, you need better guardrails. I mean, you can't have players being able to feed inside information like that. Now, how exactly will that work? I don't know. If I knew, I would, be working for these leagues and making a ton of money. But they need to figure that out because this obviously can't happen. I mean, the poker thing is one thing. It's a crazy scheme, like I said, a Hollywood script. But players telling people what to bet on, I mean, the integrity of the sport. This is the latest example. There have been gambling scandals in the past, but with the legalization of sports betting, it really calls for more guardrails, and I don't know exactly what that looks like.
Ben, anything else you think I didn't touch on? Anything else from that press conference that you think we need to let our viewers know about before I let you go?
I think I would just say stay tuned. I mean, I'm going to be writing a story about this, so certainly I'll get all my ducks in a row and have all the information today. Front Office Sports will have you covered on everything. We already have a developing story up. But there's more to come. All the details will be in there. And I would say, keep your eyes peeled. More will come out. There's plenty of reports. Make sure that you're looking at reputable sources so you're not just believing, wild claims, because that's also sure to happen.
Absolutely, and we'll be checking in with you, I'm sure. Thank you so much, Ben, for joining us.
Thank you, Christy.